Module 2, Lesson 11, the Zero Rule of Division. Before we start talking about the zero rule of division, we first need to know the components of the division problem. So when we do get an answer, our answer in a division problem is called the quotient. The number on the outside here, the first number that comes along, that is called the dividend. And that first number is the number that we would put inside the house. He comes first and he gets his house. And the second number that comes along, he's stuck on the outside because he comes along second, and he is called a divisor. Or I should say it is called a divisor. So these are important things to know. The difference between the quotient, which is the answer to the division problem, the dividend, which is in the house, or it is the first number when the problem is written horizontally, and the divisor is on the outside of the house, or the second number in the division problem written horizontally. So now we're going to learn about our zero rule. Just like in multiplication, we can cross off numbers that are zeros. So the first thing we ask ourselves is how many zeros are in the divisor? There's 1 0 in the divisor, so that means I can cross off one number in the dividend. And now my new problem is 42 divided by 1. And 42 divided by 1 is 42. So my answer is 42. In division, I do not put zeros back in. It was in multiplication that I was doing that, not in division. Next example. Here we go again. We look at our divisor. This is our divisor. Our divisor is 2 zeros, so I cross them out. So I cross off 2 out in my dividend, and I rewrite what's left, which is 16 divided by 1, and that gives me an answer of 16. Next problem. Once again, we look at our divisor. Here's our divisor. It has 2 zeros to cross out, so I only cross out 2 zeros in the dividend. I do not cross out all 3. So now I rewrite my problem, and I try to solve that. There's 2 ways that I can solve it. I can do 240 divided by 6, and I can ask myself, 6 times what is 24? And I know it's a 4, and I put my 0 in. I can also rewrite it and say to myself, what number times 6 equals 240? And if it's easier for me to look at it that way, I can do that. And then I would fill in 40. So my answer is 40. Last one that we're going to try to do, we look at our divisor, cross off 3 zeros. So my dividend, I cross off 3 zeros. I have 180 divided by 9. If I can solve that easily, I do it. Otherwise, I can also ask myself what number times 9 using that fact family equals 180. And when I ask myself that, I say, what times 9 will give me that 18, which is a 2, and I put the 0 back in. So my answer here is 20. And that is how I use the zero rule for division to help me not have to do long division.